Papua. Over 1,400 islands, large and small, scattered between the equator and North Australia. Many of these islands are tiny, uninhabited coral atolls. The majority are of volcanic formation. Geologically, Papua is a transition zone between the islands of Indonesia and the smaller ones of Oceania. In caves like this one on the island of Kirigina in the Trobriand archipelago, remains have been found of the first human inhabitants of these islands. As a result of the last glaciation, the water level went down and some Polynesian peoples were able to cross to these small islands. But then, when the ice melted and the sea level rose again, these communities were cut off. Dating of the oldest human remains shows that these islands were inhabited over 40,000 years ago. The different ethnic groups that live on the islands of Papua were greatly feared by the sailors who dared to navigate the waters of these accursed islands. Headhunters and cannibals, these fierce warriors of the sea remained isolated until well into the 20th century. Their bloodthirsty fame meant that for a long time their territory remained unexplored by Europeans. Still today, there are isolated areas where there are cases of cannibalism and ritual decapitations, especially along the border with Irian Jaya on the island of New Guinea. Traditional customs and rituals remain strong among the inhabitants of these islands, though now it is unusual to find a village without a mission of one of the over 100 different churches which compete for converts among the Papuan natives. But though they attend worship and prayers to these imported gods, the Papuans continue to follow their traditional laws and age-old customs. These young Tolais from the island of New Britain have to undergo a severe initiation before being able to sail alone. They have to go to see the fish, as the ceremony is called. It is a test of their courage and capacity for suffering. If they bear the pain without flinching, a string of shells is placed around their necks, symbolizing the passage to adulthood. They are now ready to face the dangers of the sea, protected by the spirits of the forest. That is why, during the initiation, they cover their bodies with green sap. Fishing is the main activity of the Tolai. They use hooks, nets, and harpoons. The most important journeys are those to trade with other neighboring islands. These crossings are subject to the traditional laws which regulate relations among the different tribes. The villages do not have a well-defined structure. The stilt houses are arranged in family groups. The meeting place is normally the open area opposite the house of the village chief. As well as fishers, they are also gatherers and farmers. The pace of life is slow, no one rushes, there is no stress. The women are responsible for household chores and looking after the children, as well as gathering fruits from the forest. The men plant the yam fields, take care of the pigs, and go fishing. They are very hierarchical societies. For example, in the Trobriand Islands, above the village chiefs, stands the figure of the Paramon chief, who is responsible for everything that happens on the islands. As in much of Melanesia, the society is matrilineal. The children of the marriage belong to the woman's clan. In Papua, there are over 900 different languages and more than 1,000 different ethnic groups. Communication would be impossible if it were not for Pidgin English, a language with elements of both English and the native languages. Yams are the most important crop in the Trobriand Islands. In fact, they are a symbol of wealth, both personal and of the clan. Every man must build a yam house for each one of his wives. This is where the tubers are stored after the harvest. They are constructions which can quickly be taken down and then rebuilt and protect the yams from the humidity during the rainy season. Between June and July, the harvest rites take place. The largest yams are put on display before being stored. No one can begin harvesting until the crop of the Paramon chief has been gathered in. This is when the most important ritual celebrations on these islands are held. Each family has to give part of their crop to the Paramon chief. This is a tax which varies from year to year, depending on the results of the harvest. While they are storing the yams, the families ask the magic man to carry out a small ceremony, so the yams will be under the protection of the spirits who will make sure they do not rot. The yam houses are administered by the brothers-in-law of the owners or by someone from the woman's clan, further evidence of the matrilineal nature of the society. The houses of the Paramon chief are richly decorated with wood carvings which symbolize his power. The importance of these carvings is such that those who make them occupy a very high position in society.